Most people think that the Vikings were crazy, bloodthirsty, huge, bearded warriors who wore big-horned helmets, enjoyed slaughtering thousands, worshipped devilish gods, and were in it for the loot and apparent honour. Yet little do the majority of the population know, these stereotypes reflect very little of the intelligent Scandinavian population and the ideas of Viking religion, full of gods of thunder, power, horses, and rainbows, who fought against gargantuan monsters and renegade immortals, i.e. Loki, is yet another of these reflections that lack understanding of these fascinating people. Now we will have Norse historian Ethan Tanner to explain the details of Viking religion and how it changed over time.
Thank you, Alex. Now, the Vikings were initially pagan, which meant they worshipped multiple gods, compared to the main religions in Europe during the 8th to 11th centuries. There were dozens of different Norse deities, each with their own separate function and role in these Vikings' lives, societies, and values. Gods were split into two main factions, the Aesir and the Vanir. The Aesir were the god of a tribe, loyalty and honor, and performed the main roles of heroes inside these stories. Some of the most famous ones included Odin, the god of wisdom, healing and sorcery, the chief god of Aesir, Thor, the god of thunder and lightning, Tyr, the god of justice, and Heimdall, the god and rainbow bridge to Asgard. The Vanir were also a major aspect of Norse mythology, being the gods and goddesses of nature and the entwining of humans and the natural world. These include gods like Freya, god of fertility, good harvest and peace, Freya, his sister, another god of nature, and finally Nord, the father of these two beings. But for every good story, there must be obviously some villains too, or else you honestly don't really have a lot of story, especially for people like the savage Northmen. The gods' main enemy were the giants. As the name suggests, they were described as humongous humanoid figures that plagued the night world, and like other rival gods, for example, Ymir, the first being, Loki, the trickster, Aegir, the god of the sea, and Gorora, Loki's wife. There were also dwarves, elves, land spirits, human ancestors, Valkyrie, the Norns, humans, and the Lysa. All these creatures lived on one of the levels of a world tree or a Yggdrasil. These characters and sub-mythologies had a tremendous impact on the lives of these Vikings, both in their values as to the day-to-day religious activities and codes that they had to abide to. The Vikings were not a majorly ritualized society, but there are still sacrifices and offers and activities that they went through on quite a day-to-day basis. To start off, the Norsemen had their own senses of faith. There have been ancient halls excavated in Scandinavia that have been deduced to have been used in festivals and other religious feasts. There have also been holy spaces, much like, for example, a tomb or a Sistine Chapel, where there are rules in place to sustain the sacredness of the area. These are marked out with stone barriers or branches to indicate that these areas will not be permitted for the spillage of blood, etc. There are also multiple religious leaders in the single community, mainly the chieftain or designated priest. These people, called Gothi, ensure that proper religious activities are completed properly. Finally, the sacrifices. People sacrifice grain and animals to idols of the gods on specific festivals and days. For example, people give offerings to Freya on their weddings and harvests due to the fact that he is a god of peace and fertility, hence the blessings of marriages, as well as that of being the harvest. So the Vikings celebrate him during these times for the good season.
Thank you, Ethan. But this way of life didn't last for long. As the Viking began to move from raiding European coastal towns and villages to actually colonizing, settling and trading, there became intense pressure for them to convert into Christianity, the dominant religion in many of the settlements that the Vikings joined. Soon they were a minority, and intermarriage with these communities added even further pressure for change. These Vikings were in it for the money, literally. Throughout the whole Viking Age, the primary objective was to gain wealth. From the raiding, to settling, to trading, this was always their goal. So, in order to create better relationships with the people they were trading with, and when they are more inclined to part with their money, they converted, or at least in some cases half converted to Christianity, which meant they could trade with Christians but not have to give up their Norse gods. Not only that, we see multiple missionaries arrive from Europe to try to convert the Vikings, and the professor will explain more about this in depth.
Multiple missionaries arrived from multiple parts of Europe to convert the Vikings into Christianity. Multiple kings arrived that were Christian, and after that, this promoted conversion in the whole land. Take for example, King Olaf II of Norway, who was a Christian Viking king, and his reign had a major effect on the religions of the time. For example, he brought with him Bishop Grimkittel, which was part of Norwegian missionaries at the time. This position of power allowed for a greater amount of influence of these Christian conversions. This, after many generations, led to complete conversion of Vikings in and out of Scandinavia by the end of the Viking Age in 666 AD.
And with this, the change of the Vikings can be seen etched in European medieval history, from their actions to their religions and the stories that they passed down. These raiders, who are so intent on killing and fighting for gold and honour, supported by their culture, have turned into a civilized and intelligent race that have conformed to the rest of the society for trade and settlement. The complete knowledge of the Vikings, even to this day, is so widely unknown and misunderstood. Their doings, their life, and their culture. And all that we know is that there is so much more to learn, find, and understand about these fascinating people and their intriguing culture.